And God made them in God's image. Male and female, God created them. And Adam knew Eve, and she bore a son, saying, I have borne a man with the help of God. I believe that God is pro-choice. I believe that God is for reproductive justice. Given that God created both men and women, when one considers the reproductive process from the biblical theological perspective, one has to conclude that God, in fact, made the first choice. God chose between these two humans to hide the mystery of reproduction inside the woman. Eve proclaims that what she has done was with the help of God. Thus, God and women are partners in the reproductive process, and women are not silent partners, but they are partners with voice and vote. When one considers reproduction from a biological perspective, it is understood that this partnership often does not succeed. Miscarriage, often with the woman unaware, is the fate of the overwhelming number of pregnancies. We consider that a miscarriage has no moral content because we attribute it to God or nature. We say God or nature knew that the fetus would not survive, or that God or nature knew that it wasn't the right time in the woman's life. Thus, we accept that this process of human gestation was interrupted by natural forces. But if women are partners with God, then do they not also have the moral authority to interrupt the process of human gestation? Do they not have the moral authority to act when they know the fetus will not survive? Does she not have the moral authority to consider the time in her life that is appropriate for childbirth? Oh, but when she does it, we don't call it a miscarriage. We call it an abortion. This interruption of the process of human gestation is a larger question than the procedure of abortion. It is a question about a woman's life, her whole life. She is the one who has the moral authority, the clarity, and information to make a fully considered choice. It is not the place of others to make her decision for her. It is a decision she makes in consultation with her God in consideration of her life. The stigma heaped on women who have abortions is a modern political tactic to control and prescribe the life possibilities of and to deny the moral agency of women. It is not a religious tenet. Abortion is a medical procedure with no moral content. It gains moral content when it becomes an instrument of an agenda to oppress, coerce, shame, and intimidate women to make choices about their reproductive lives that are not authentic to who they are as women. As a member of the Clergy Advocacy Board of Planned Parenthood of America, I and other clergy of various faiths have come together to support women who face a decision about a pregnancy. We seek to reinforce the moral authority they inherently possess and to confer upon them the spiritual support of their faith community. Historically, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam each allowed abortion until the point of quickening. That's when the fetus is felt to move by the mother. Currently, many denominations of Judaism, Islam, and several Protestant versions of Christianity accept the primacy of the life of the mother over the potential life of the fetus and allow abortion to save the life of the mother. If human beings took anything out of the Garden of Eden, it was free will. Many submit that it is the free will of human beings that most reflects the image of God. We certainly don't look like God. When a woman is faced with a medical complication so severe that the choice is between the life of the fetus and her own life, she not only has the moral authority to choose her own life, but in regard to her other children who depend on her, her partner who loves her, her family who need her, and her God who created her, she has the moral obligation to choose life, her life. When a woman has been robbed of her God-given free will by the violence of rape, she not only has the moral authority to reclaim her will by choosing her own life, but a moral obligation to determine for herself whether, when, and how many children to bear. When a government seeks to interfere in the sacred partnership between God and the woman and legislates that unless every pregnancy is brought to full term, she has committed a crime and shall be punished by a levy upon her resources and the imprisonment, and now in Georgia and Alabama, the execution of her body, she and we have a spiritual, moral, and civic duty to resist that government. When a man attempts to force a pregnancy upon a woman with sex, we call it rape. So what should we call it when a government or a church seek to force a pregnancy or the continuation of it upon a woman? I'm not even sure we need another name for it. We, the people of the United States of America, must repel those among us who would diminish the humanity of any of our citizens by the coercion of their very persons for purposes alien to their conscience, dangerous to their health, and in contradiction to their faith. Amen.